Salut, bonjour, comment vas-tu? J'espère que tu vas bien. Bienvenue sur ma chaîne. Welcome to my channel. Today we are bringing our focus to removal work with a specified focus in des citrons, le citron, lemon. But before we get into this conversation, I must first ask you to please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, leave a sweet kind comment below, hit your notification and post notification buttons, and please share le video. D'accord? Merci beaucoup. So as I mentioned in tonight's or today's or whenever you are watching this video, we are bringing our focus to removal work. And I thought that this was very important to have a conversation on just because last month we had the community service that removed things from the mundane roads, right? And this month for the October community service, which I guess I'll post here, for the October community service, we are bringing our focus to the Haijun Spiritual Road Opening Community Service. This community service is to remove those spiritual obstacles which allows those spiritual things to get done. May that be attraction that you're trying to do, may that be removal that you're trying to do, one way or the other. This is what this community service is about. We cleared those mundane things. Now it's the spiritual things. And this is super important because, as you know, the Haijun community service is coming up very soon. And we need those roads clear so he can get to us quickly, swiftly, and abundantly without any issues and troubles or any of those things. And that's what it's for. But also, this is the time of the year where the veil is thin, or it doesn't exist in some places, and there is spiritual work that is being done, spiritual work that can be done. And for that reason, we want to clear that out of the way. We want to make sure that there's nothing getting our way from us getting what it is that we need. D'accord? Super. So, for those that are interested, our big bundle baddies, as I call you, you all have a special treat ahead of you. For the big bundles, remember now, for the October community service, there is a limited amount of services and products. So for our big bundle baddies, you get 2 replayable videos focusing one on folk spirits when it comes to money, love, health, and spiritual affairs, of course. And you get another video on removal work focusing on blockbusters, road openings, and banishing oils. You also get blockbuster, road opening, and banishing oil. Now, I tell you there are limited amounts of those, but the link is over in the description box. The last day to get this service is on the 29th. The service will be held on the 30th, and then it's a working ritual weekend. And I'm super excited about that. You all have no idea. Also, I want to remind you all that we have a 4-way protection charm class where I am teaching you how to make at least four different charms focusing on money, love, protection, etc., so forth and so on. Okay? So for example, actually today I'm going to show you a charm that we're going to make with avec les citrons, with our lemons. And all of the things. So that is available too. You can get all of these things together with 4 easy payments if that is a decision that you decide to make. Okay? I believe that is all that I want to say regarding some announcements, but let us get into the conversation of removal work. Removal focusing on lemons. So the lemon in itself has its own purpose. It has its own charge. It has its own agé. I mentioned this in the last the last video about like the herbs, how they had their charges before us, after us, during us. The lemon is no different. It is no different. And I brought this up a couple of videos ago, how I see people online, I say nothing in their posts, but I'm seeing people who are doing these blessing baths with the lemon and orange. You can't mix those. They do two totally different things. You cannot mix those together. You are removing particular blessings of the orange. So it's important to understand not just that they have their own purpose and their own charges and their own ashi, but they also work differently. So the very first thing that we're going to discuss is the difference of removals. And I'm not going to go through all the things because the focus is on lemon. But you need to understand that removals are not necessarily negative. Sometimes they are necessary, to be honest. And that removal can be intentional, deliberate to remove an enemy. It can be to remove an illness. It can be to remove an obstacle. It can be to remove even an old blessing, something that is old, something that has expired kind of deal. But a removal is a removal, and it's not always this, oh goodness, I have to banish. But the reality is this. If I'm in an abusive relationship and I do a removal, it's protection for me, but it is removal of the abuser or the oppressor, etc. So a lot of time people go, well, I do light work. I do light work. Well, actually, that doesn't exist, number one. But number two, it is very important to understand that, again, your blessing may be somebody else's burden. Your heaven can be someone else's hell. Your paradise can be someone's purgatory. But it's super, super, super important to understand that you should not be leery or worried about this. And also to remember culturally, for us, the only way to right a wrong is to right the wrong. So if I remove you, the only way you coming back is if you do work to be placed, to bind us together, etc., so forth and so on. But there are different removals. And so there's removals that repel. There are removals that create a fortress, a boundary. There is removal that eliminates. There are multiple types of removals, and I can get into those things at a later date. But that's just very important to understand. Pour le citron, this eliminates. It cuts. It removes through and through. If you are using a lemon without a target, without a clear, intentional, deliberate, individual space, place, ideal, circumstance, etc., you yourself are going to remove all the things, for better or for worse. This is the marriage you didn't know that you were asking for. Okay? Il y a le mariage, parce que le mariage reposant l'engagement. It is that union that you did not ask for. It is that marriage you did not ask for. And so when you are using a lemon, it is super powerful. But, you know, I have this conversation, that I sort of mentioned, I think, in the herbal video, in the working on the herbs video. Some of these things actually have very similar correspondences to the mundane, right? So like cleaning with lemon actually does have its own purifying mundane abilities. It is, antibacterial. It is all of those things. It is all of the stuff, right? So it's beautiful that it works in that particular way. But you have to be ready for those changes. As I mentioned earlier, it is also important to understand that you cannot generalize removals. You cannot generalize removals. Again, so you can't create a boundary from somebody as well as bound them, right? In the way of, for example, I wish I had a piece of paper. Say, for example, and this is why cleaning and cleansings are different. 2 lemons. Okay. if you both are in your home and you do protection work and then you try to remove, they're still stuck in there. Y'all may have a little bit more space, but they're still stuck in there, right? You want to, and this is why it's important to have the method and the theory behind the magic of it all. So it is important to clean, one, do, cleanse. Now is the removal. And then me being here, create the boundary, the fortress, etc. So now this one is gone. This person is gone. This situation is gone, etc. So it's really important to know what you're doing. A lot of people want to jump straight into, well, I'm just going to repel or remove it. And it's like, well, you really can't. Or I've done protection work and now I'm going to remove. No. Removal first. But again, it's important to understand, how are you removing? So if I'm utilizing a lemon, for example, and I'm trying to eliminate, when I'm using a lemon, it's because things have gotten really, really bad. Things have gotten very heavy. There is just so much accumulation of spiritual work on those spiritual roads. It's just accumulation. I haven't done my baths. I haven't done the smokings. I haven't done the sweepings. I haven't done all of those things. I have not swept, literally, and I have not swept on the spiritual roads. So all of these things have accumulated on the spiritual road, has accumulated. This person saying this person doing these. It is this abuse and this thing and this thing and this thing. And so all of these spiritual things, the spiritual attack, the spiritual warfare, etc., all of these things are accumulating. There may be blessings sprinkled in there. You got your car, you got your house, you got your beans, your green potato, tomatoes, and all the things for the holidays. You have all of the blessings, the mundane blessings that you've been asking for as well. But you also haven't been cleaning, and there's clutter, and there's issues, and there's problems, and you haven't been taking care of the car, and all those things. So guess what? Mama, the lemon, comes through and says, you know what? It's time to clean house. Remove that one. Remove that one. For better or for worse. And that's what the lemon does. It doesn't push away this and push away that and oh no, it's just getting rid of it, point blank, period. So that is really, really important for you to understand when you decide to call upon the lemon, okay? So before we get into the next part, I do just want to remind you all very quickly that the October Community Service Hydron Spiritual Road Opening is available. Now the link is over in the description box, okay? For this particular community service, it is removing all of the things that have been collecting, all of the things that have been accumulating, all of the things that have blocked your spiritual road. You're like, Queen, I know I'm seeing the things. I see the blessings down the road, but I can't get to it. October Community Service. Queen, I know I see the blessings, the car, the house is on the market and those things, but I can't get. Let's get it done. For my big bundles, remember there are limited big bundles that come with 2 replayable videos, 3 oils, and a whole lot of information that you'll be able to use for your own spiritual affairs at any given point in time. Banishing oil, blockbuster, and le REPLAYABLE, the road opening. Le REPLAYABLE represents l'opportunité. It provides le ressource, et voilà, le chemin est ouvert, the road is open, the path is open. Very simple. Last day to get this is on the 29th. The service will be held on the 30th. Also, the 4-way protection charm class is also available. Today is the last day to get that. So when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to end it, and the videos will be going out not too long after that. So be on the lookout for that as well, okay? Now, speaking of the charm class, Lemons can be used in so many ways. And this is why it's super important. Like you said, you find someone who grew up in the culture, not somebody who read a book and now 5, 6, 10, even 10 years later, they're teaching classes. I was just looking at this girl on Instagram, like yesterday or the day before yesterday. And I was like, it's so funny to me. When you open your business, you knew nothing about any of this stuff. You actually wanted me to come to your store to teach your people. But now here you are a few years later down the road and you're doing this and you have all the followers. But I mean, it's not like all the followers like I want followers. I have who I have and I am blessed with who I have. Otherwise, I would be out here with the shenanigans. But, you go to somebody today. Now, watch what I tell you and watch how it begins to circulate and people flip it on the tick and the talk and the Insta and the gram and the face in the book and the space in the mind and all of those things, right? So, but you give somebody a lemon and you ask them what it does. They're going to be like, oh, well, it cleanses. Boom. That's it. How? How? Please tell me how. With what part? I'm going to show you a couple of these things. And there's just so much. But anyways, let's get into it. So, pour le de citron. For the lemon, the first thing to understand is the whole lemon itself can in fact be a vessel. So you can load it. Some of my best workings is through loading the lemon, okay? Loading the lemon is one of the best things to do. These can be loaded and used as a charm. May it be in sitting, or it can be placed in particular spaces. I'm trying not to give away some things, but it can be taken to places. It's a moving work. It's a moving altar, if you will. Okay? So there's that. The next thing is, and that's the whole lemon, is halves and pieces. So when you begin to cut the lemon, like completely cut the lemon, then you are actually utilizing these pieces, like the halves and quarter pieces, in baths and washes and those type of things. At that point, it cannot be used as a vessel because it's no longer whole. It cannot hold anything, okay? And then the next part is the lemon pieces dried, using lemon peel as an incense and also in washes and baths as well as using those bits and pieces in your mojo hands and those particular types of things. So breaking down the lemon in a variety of ways and understanding how to use it. So now I want to show you a very simple working how I'm going to be using this lemon as a charm. This is this could have been one of the workings that I shared in the 4-way protection working class. So let's get into it. All right, so this is one of those charms, or like one of the charms that I will be teaching. So you'll need a couple of things, but I just want to firstly say, so here I have salt, and this is going to represent dirt from your front yard, okay? So you need dirt from your front yard, a lemon, not all the lemons, a knife, and a cloth. Now, this cloth is not what I would typically use. I would use either a burlap or some kind of cheesecloth or mesh, something that is more porous, that has a little bit more of a lesser, tighter thread. You can still use these, but it's going to take longer to work, to be honest, okay? Honnêtement. Alors, commençons. Je prends le décision. Et je coupe. I take the lemon and I'm going to cut this 4 times. Okay, so that was 1. Now watch what I do. I cut this 4 times. Every time I cut it, I turned it counterclockwise. Okay? Take this, place it in your cloth. It could have been someone's shirt, the inside of their pocket. I am then going to take the dirt from the front yard and place here. I'll need some thread. You bound these all together like so. Okay? Bound it all together like so. And then you're going to wrap this. Now, even the wrapping aspect can be working counterclockwise when you start. You can't counterclockwise both of them because you won't be able to tie it. So once that is done, you take this and you're going to hang this in a tree. And what happens is when it rains, as this charm does, as it's going to work, it will remove what's on those roads at your home. But remember, that's going to remove all the things you need and all the things you want. It's giving you a fresh start. So that is how this works. Now you say, well, Queen, what if it's not raining? If it's not raining, it's not working. So the other thing that you can do is you can take this and you take it to a river and you dip it in the river. And as you're dipping in the river, you can call out the things you want removed in that way. All right, until there's no more dirt left in there. And then you will throw the whole thing in and that'll be done. The last way that you can also use this as a charm is to simply take the dirt, place it inside those slices, just a little bit of dirt, take it to the river, throw it away, walk away, and don't look back. Et voila. If you like this kind of working and this type of charm, then definitely check out the 4-way protection charm class. And et voila. Merci. Thank you so very much for taking the energy, the time, and efforts to learn about the workings of the lemon. Thank you so very much for being receptive and giving me the space to share this information with you. And I hope that you take this upon yourself to do maybe this very simple working. But remember, this is a powerful, powerful herbal spiritual ally, and it's very important that you just don't do things freely. It's been a pleasure to do this for you all today. I hope that you all have been enjoying the videos. Please make sure that you're sharing the videos and comment. I want to know, have you done this working before? Have you heard of these working? Will you be doing these working? What has been your experiences with the citron? But also, I remind you guys, Coven, we're going to talk a little bit more about lemons and removals, and I'll be answering some questions in the virtual coven. If you want to join the virtual coven, the link is over in the description box as well. And yes, don't forget, the October Community Service is available now. Don't miss out on that. And the 4-way protection charm class, today's the last day to get it. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, merci.